Oh, did I wipe off my lipstick on accident? Hey guys, and welcome to round 5 out of 6 here at Unrated Gaming here in Norwalk. I've got emotional support Pikachu with me today because someone's going to need to after go from 4-0 to 3-1. We've got Andrew Weaver and Ben Lee. So Ben, interesting story, has aged up this year into Masters and has done fantastic so far in the one of the busies, and he is undefeated right now. And there's a lot of eyes on him here at SoCal to be the next quote unquote like breakout from this area. He has played phenomenally so far 2 days, so we'll see exactly what he's bringing to the Masters division now and to this round. And Andrew, obviously having been here for a while as well, has some interesting Pokemon on his team. So on your left side, is it the DS again? Yeah. So on your left side, you've got Ben with that Groudon and Xerneas, and Incineroar, Tapu Koko, Kartana, and Bronzong. So kind of a semi-quote-unquote standard team. And on your right, Andrew with the Yveltal, Stakataka, Incineroar, Victory Bell, Tapu Koko, and Groudon. So a little bit of differences in their restricteds. We've also got 2 steel types on here as well, and weird choices in grass types, especially from Andrew. That Victory Bell going to be there, going to be usually has that ability for chlorophyll, so going to benefit from the weather that both trainers are going to be bringing to this. Tapu Koko is going to be the Tapu of choice from both of them as well. Tapu Koko also really benefiting from the ability to basically have that terrain up on the field for it. No Kyogre though, which is the interesting thing, and Yveltal and Xerneas is different as the different restricteds from X and Y on their team, so also going to be interested to see how that plays out. Ben obviously has the option to Gravity with that Bronzong if it wants to, and to try and make sure that the Precipice Blades hit, but it'll also be benefiting the Precipice Blades on Andrew's side. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how these two pair up. Small differences but in their teams, and a lot of similarities, but those small differences could change the tide of battle for one of them. Oh, Ben's matching the mascot I have on stream right now. Great. So, I know we all know who emotional support Pikachu wants to win, I guess. But we'll be going to this game 1 round 5. Gonna try to figure out exactly who is gonna be undefeated still. So, we've got Groudon and Incineroar out on the field as, oh my goodness, as Groudon and Incineroar on the field, so an exact mirror. Cool. As Andrew's Groudon is going to set up the Sun first, and actually going to get the Intimidate first too. So, oh man, these nicknames are very interesting. Jackson, I hope you're watching at home. As both Pokemon Exchange Intimidates could be super important because all 4 of these Pokemon here are physical attackers, and if Andrew's Pokemon are indeed faster, then he's going to have the faster Incineroar with a faster Fake Out. So going to have to be a little bit wary which Pokemon you're going to decide to Fake Out on this turn, because we could have double Fake Outs onto both Groudon as well. So this is already going to be fun, guys. I don't know if you can tell from the tone of my voice how excited I am about this mirror match. Cool. But that Groudon is going to be returned back as we get Fan Xerneas from Ben's side of the field, that Fairy Orb bringing with it that boost to Fairy type moves for everybody else's. Fake Out from Andrews. Incineroar goes into that switch to Xerneas, and Precipice Blades, ooh, gonna miss the Xerneas on the switch and connects with the Incineroar. Is that -1 though, so not gonna be enough to pick up that. Oh, sorry. It missed the Incineroar on Ben's side, but hits the Xerneas. So there we go, as Incineroar uses U-turn onto Andrew's Incineroar and is pivoting out for Ben. These nicknames that Ben has are also very close to each other, so this is also going to be fun. As Groudon comes back in, so Xerneas and Groudon on the field together. This Groudon is now not intimidated, can do a massive amount of damage with Precipice Blades onto Andrew's side of the field if it connects, and I mean, that Fake Out has been burned now from that Incineroar on Andrew's side, so Xerneas could kind of set up if it wants to. Do take a lot of damage on the switch-in though, the Fake Out and the Precipice Blades damage, putting it in the spot where a couple more hits into it would knock it out. And Groudon is going to be switching out, and we're getting that Incineroar once more, so that Groudon on Andrew's side is going to be at -2 now for any attacks, as well as that Incineroar. So Andrew, his hitters are not going to be hitting as much as the Geomancy from Xerneas is able to go off, and that power herb being consumed means that this Xerneas has been set up very nicely and is at that +2 for special attack, special defense, and its speed. And Andrew has not switched out his -2 intimidating Pokemon right now. So Precipice Blades is going to connect to both Pokemon this time. No avoiding attack. It's not going to be doing as much damage anymore to either of them because of that -2. Flare Blitz from the sun, though, is going to be targeting down that Xerneas is going to be able to pick up the knockout on there. So after that, Geomancy does go down on this turn. So a little bit of a hard loss for Ben, losing that Pokemon right after you set it up. So we're gonna have to figure out how to come back from that a little bit as we do get that Groudon coming out once more. Has the again, those Intimidates have been reset. Has the ability to kind of just go for, hey, let's do that Precipice Blades, because I mean that Incineroar is in range of being knocked out, and Groudon could be double tapped into to be hit as that Incineroar on Andrew's side is finally being switched out, and we've got Yveltal out on the field. It is indeed a bacon bird, unfortunately. And that Dark Aura is now helping boost its strike type move, and Groudon goes for the Protect on this turn, will not take any sort of attack there, and the Fake Out is being eaten by that Protect, and Precipice Blade not going to connect with anything on Andrew's side of the field, so Yveltal coming in very nicely here, is at full health and is able to deal damage now as it needs to. However, Ben still can benefit from that Dark Aura as well, with a knockout, with a knockoff or two into Andrew's side of the field. So Ben, that Groudon's still a scary powerhouse because it is at a reset neutral for its attack again instead of being at -1, and we know that, you know, Groudon is a scary Pokemon to kind of attack with. So, but Andrew gonna have to think, what's he gonna do with that Groudon? It is still at -2. We saw what little damage it did to that Incineroar once it had been sort of switched in on there. And I mean, if Ben wants to keep making sure that, you know, he helps some of the damage on Andrew's side, he's going to want to keep that Incineroar around for those Intimidates, as that Groudon finally getting out of there is going to get those Intimidates reset, and we've got that Incineroar going to be -1 now for both the Incineroar and Groudon on Ben's side of the field. So a little bit of a change in pace now for Andrew's side as he makes sure that he can stop the damage from Ben, but Knockoff being boosted by that Dark Aura does an insane amount of damage into that Groudon, and Fire Punch going into that Yveltal. Oof, manages to get the burn on that too, and Flare Blitz boosted by the sun, but at -1 from that Intimidate early is going to go down into that Yveltal as well, and it's not quite enough to pick up the knockout, but is very close, and that burn is really going to hurt Andrew right now as well. But Ben able to consume that berry and get back up to the green. This Yveltal will be around for one more turn though. It's going to be able to make sure that it release attacks once more, and whew, I'm guessing because there was no berry consumed from this Yveltal, and that knockoff did at least half damage. It's most likely also carrying a dark type boosting item, which I'm guessing is going to be Black Glasses, a very popular item to run on Yveltal right now. So, oh man, that Groudon getting out of there, not going to be able to do as much damage because of that earlier Intimidate, as Kartana is now in a great spot. The Second Punch is failing on the Kartana switch, and as Incineroar on Andrew's side goes for the U-turn into Ben's Incineroar and gets out of there, leaving Andrew the opportunity to kind of just switch into that last Pokemon in the back, which I think he might actually be bringing that. Oh, he's going to be bringing in that Victory Bell. And we're going to exactly see why it's such a scary Pokemon, as U-turn from Ben's Incineroar is enough to pick up the knockout on that Yveltal and allows Ben to bring in his own Pokemon again. We know that that Groudon he has Fire Punch, could do a lot of damage with that Victory Bell. And it is indeed going to be that Groudon again, going to be reset in terms of its attack stat. The Sunlight has faded though, so Andrew's gonna have to decide if he wants to bring it back, which he does bring back his Groudon, which was at -2 attack and is now at normal attack. Brings back the Sun just as it had expired, and it is now going to be this Victory Bell and this Groudon versus Kartana and Groudon. So interesting to note the two grass types that both players have chosen are going to be facing down each other on the field right now. So gonna be kind of cool to see exactly what this Victory Bell does and see how far Andrew has gotten with it so far, and to see what it can do against Ben's side of the field. But that Groudon protecting itself does not want to take those grass type moves, as Weather Ball from Victory Bell is actually going into that Kartana, and so it is going to be super effective because it is a fire typing but holds on because of that Focus Sash. So Weather Ball is changed to the type depending on what on what the weather is right now with that Groudon. Almost, but not quite goes down. Is almost goes down to that Leaf Blade, but the Precipice Blade's connecting from Andrew's Groudon into that Kartana, picking up the knockout on there, making sure that is not a threat for that next turn. So, I mean, that Life Lord Victory Bell with Weather Ball managed to do an insane amount of damage to that Kartana. Sentences I never thought I would say in my lifetime, guys. Incineroar, though, back on the field, has that pressure forward, that fake out, and manages to intimidate the Groudon, so it is going to be at -1, so potentially both of Ben's Pokemon might be able to take a Precipice Blades a little bit easier on here, as the Groudon on Ben's side hasn't been intimidated quite yet. And it is going to be a little bit of a tough call, I think, for Ben here. He's stuck to his last 2 Pokemon, so any Intimidates that Andrew can try to cycle out are going to be stacking up on these Pokemon, as the Groudon on Andrew's side is going to be taken out, and we've got that Incineroar to start that cycle of Intimidates. It's going to put both of these Pokemon at -1. I think that Groudon actually on Ben's side is going to be at -2 now. Either way, it's gonna stop some of that damage from being so heavy, as Victory Bell hides behind that Protect is gonna, but the Incineroar fakes out Andrew's Incineroar, as Precipice Blades does not connect with the Victory Bell and does connect with the Incineroar here, again at a minus. Is still not quite enough actually to pick up the knockout on there, and actually activates the berry on Andrew's Incineroar. That Incineroar, I think, held on with 1 HP left, so good job to that Incineroar at least. And Ben's gonna have to really focus down. He can now focus down on that Victory Bell and get rid of it, because it might actually potentially be a threat to both of this Pokemon. Weather Ball not gonna be doing as much damage, obviously, because it'll be a Fire type move against a Ground and a Fire type. As is that a double? No, not a double. So Groudon protects itself on this turn, as Fake Out from Andrew's Incineroar goes into Ben's Incineroar, and Grass Knot goes into the protected Groudon spot, ending this turn. Man, okay, Incineroars are getting confusing. Oof. Well, one's called Jackson Finch. Should have been Jackson Flinch. So double protected fails actually on that Groudon, as a Victory Bell goes for the Grass Knot. It is a heavy boy and it's super effective, but it's going to get knocked out on this turn, leaving just this Incineroar at -1 versus 3 of Andrew's Pokemon for now. And U-turn from Andrew's Incineroar going to connect into Ben's Incineroar. It's going to allow him to pivot back into that Groudon, but more importantly, allow him another Intimidate later on, which is going to make sure that Ben's Incineroar can't do as much damage, even in the sun. It's going to be at -2 right now. Could possibly pick up a knockout onto that Victory Bell right now, but that Groudon parting, maybe a Precipice Blades miss. I mean, if Andrew has another more reliable move on that Groudon, should definitely go after it. But the recoil is really hurting Ben here too, as it's hanging on with 10 HP. That Intimidate from that Incineroar on Jackson's side is going to put it at -2, but he also can just knock it out with a Fake Out and give game 1 hi Mike to Andrew. Sure.
Another voice?
Yeah. Oh, this will be fun.
Sure.
You want to steal one?
Sure.
Yeah, and so Fake Out is going to knock out Ben's Incineroar and give game 1 to Andrew. So that was a cool match, despite, take whichever one, despite all the murders here that we've had. But very nice job. So.
You need a break or just?
You can have to go ahead and join me. So. Yep, game 1, I'm going to put my foot right here because I love resting my feet on places.
That's fine.
So Andrew got game 1 on that one against Ben.
So, hi, I'm here to help Regina. I just showed up.
Yeah, Mike literally just walked through the door, guys. Like, it's weird. So do you love this Victory Bell on here? So
I love Victory Bells.
Okay, so both of these guys have Steel type Pokemon here. They both got Grass type that have different typing.
Kind of essential in this format.
Yeah, well, other than that, they've got basically the same team, except the restrictors are different. Ben let his Xerneas go down after setting up Geomancy, which was a shame because it could have helped him win that match a little bit better.
I mean, 2 different restrictions. I mean, we got 2 Pokemon identical, but everything basically the same.
It's basically the same. Yeah. Well, the Weather Ball, super effective damage onto that Kartana. Hold on.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's wonderful. Well, of course. Weather Ball. I love Victory Ball for Weather Ball. So
Ben's got to adjust. He's got to make sure that Xerneas doesn't fall after setting up Geomancy, because Andrew was able to double tap into it. So that was his problem in game one. I think that Xerneas could have done a lot more if it stuck around for an extra turn or two.
All right, you know what? I'll figure it out since I have no idea what happened.
No worries, yeah.
Here.
Literally, Mike walked in just as that Incineroar came in for the fake out onto Ben's Incineroar. So I've had a lot of mirrors today because Incineroar is running around. But now we've got Yveltal, and Incineroar is the lead now for Andrew. So a little bit of a change for him, as Ben's going to lead with, I think that is, I don't actually know.
Oh, the Incineroar and the Xerneas. Okay.
So we've got fake outs, and we've got the legendaries from X and Y out on the field. So a little bit of a weird mirror here.
All right. And we see here that Yveltal's faster. Did we know that from last game?
No, because Yveltal was hiding in the back for the most part. But we do know that the Incineroar on Andrew's side has been faster this entire time. So
yeah.
Ben running a little bit of a slower team right now.
Plus, it looks like Ben's Incineroar is a little slower here, so he's got the fake out speed disadvantage here. Might be, but might be a rough.
Knock off the power. Well, because I mean, if his Yveltal is faster, which like the rest of this team has generally been faster than Ben's, the fake out though from gonna go into Ben's Incineroar and no fake out there, as knockoff does go into the Xerneas, knocks off that power herb, and I think we're gonna get that Geomancy this turn. Oof. So Ben's gonna be stuck into that for a bit.
It is for one turn, but it doesn't look like Andrew has the defensive to take advantage of that one turn gap right now. Flare Blitz hurts for sure, but Yveltal's, even with Dark Aura, is still not going to do very much in its dark moves.
I mean, you switch out the Yveltal for Groudon and Flare Blitz the Xerneas?
That's true. Well, that is true. A sun boost right now is, but
I think that's actually my only get.
Yes. It's a little dicey that it might get the KO. It might survive with 1 or 2 HP.
That's true.
So it's could be a bit of a roll there. I'm spitballing.
And the Incineroar on Andrew's side is also at -1, but the Incineroar on Ben's side is no longer going to be at that, as he brings in Tapu Koko in place of that Incineroar from before, bringing with it the electric terrain and a great boost for Tapu Koko and his electric type moves. And Geomancy going to go off on this turn, is going to get that +8 to special attack, speed, and special defense. So this Xerneas, if it can hold on and not go down like it did last time, is going to be a monster of a Pokemon to try to take care of, as Incineroar is going to go for that Flare Blades, going to go into, I think it's going to be that Xerneas slot. Does not even come close. Yikes. Oh my goodness.
So Andrew's in a pretty dicey spot here, but again, Ben can only target with 1 move blast, and meanwhile, Incineroar and Groudon can take it out right now. And Tapu Koko Dazzling Gleam isn't probably enough to steal the KO on both targets here. And Tapu Koko doesn't bring out any offense besides his own Dazzling Gleam, which actually is also boosted by the aura.
Yeah.
So a double target.
Okay, here we go. So Andrew protected his Groudon and did not take the move blast from that Xerneas, as Tapu Koko actually went for the Sky Drop, and because that Incineroar is going to be the slowest thing on the field, it's going to be unable to move now that it's in the sky. This Groudon did protect, so Ben could go for the Moonblast, or could go after that Incineroar and keep those Intimidate cycles from happening. However, Precipice Blades is a big deal right now.
And even if Ben goes for the Moonblast right now, it takes out the Groudon, Incineroar's coming down, is going to get another chance to hit out to KO with Flare Blitz there. So...
Ooh, but a switch out from that Groudon is going to be bringing in that Victory Bell that we saw earlier with that Weather Ball and that Grass Knot, as Xerneas goes for the Protect, did not want to take the Precipice Blaze and the risk, as Skydrop Tapu Koko is going to drop that Incineroar this turn, allowing it to move, and this Incineroar is going to be targeting down something with Flare Blitz, goes into that protected Xerneas slot.
Okay, so Tapu Koko is still on the field, able to do a little more disruption with the Sky Drop, but it's a little. But now that Victory Bell is on the field, its powers are a little limited. I think a Sludge Bomb could take it out right now. I think Xerneas is probably still faster.
It is a Life Orb Victory Bell, by the way.
Okay, then a Sludge Bomb, either of these 2 targets is going to take it out unless Koko is sashed. I didn't see one,
I actually, Tapu Koko is a new Pokemon he didn't bring it in game 1, so
alright.
It'll be interesting to see if it's sashed. I mean, it's been kind of cool to me to see the Tapus go from being Pokemon that are more offensive to now being supportive. Gets the double protect with the Xerneas, though. Gonna be really important for Ben to be able to use that, as Sludge Bomb goes into the Xerneas, so called that very nicely. Electro Web Tapu Koko, though, gonna lower the speed of that Incineroar and that Victory Ball by -1, gonna give Ben a little bit more of a speed advantage, especially against that Victory Ball, which I think is gonna be the scary one. As Flare Blitz gonna go into that Tapu Koko, boosted though, is still at -1, is gonna do a lot of damage to the Tapu Koko, but not enough to knock it out.
But another hit will see. So interesting move by Ben. They're using Electro Web. I think that indicates that he might not be running a max speed max speed Xerneas, even though Xerneas outspeeds Victory Bell. Actually, you're probably not confident enough that he can outspeed this Victory Bell.
Yeah. I mean, it's been kind of cool. Like I said, the top boosts have been relegated to sort of support Pokemon, and Electro Web is one of those moves that really shows that, including Sky Drop. I think the general consensus was if you saw Sky Drop Tapu Koko, it's a support Tapu Koko.
Of course.
And I think it was most of the time it'd be an Assault Vest Tapu Koko. Oh, Dazzling Gleam though from Xerneas is going to connect with both Pokemon, picks up the knockout on that Incineroar, does okay damage into that Victory Bell, but Sky Drop. That was smart. The Electro Web makes sense now.
Okay, so not only was he ensured that Victory Bell is slower than Xerneas, actually made it. Now Ben knows that it's slower after -1 than its own Tapu Koko.
That's a really good job from Ben there, adjusting that, making sure that he can stop that Victory Bell from getting another Sludge Bomb into both of his Fairy type Pokemon. And you're going to be sending out that Yveltal once more. It is going to be taking a lot of damage from the Moonblast and a Dazzling Gleam, thanks to that Fairy Aura and the Geomancy on that Xerneas. That Victory Bell does have its free range, though, of taking down a Pokemon. We still have the Groudon in the back as well.
Yeah. Now, Victory Bell's defenses aren't the greatest, but I'm not sure if it'll survive a Sky Drop here.
Xerneas going for the Protect instead on this turn, as a Sucker Punch from Yveltal is going to make sure the Xerneas does not get hit. And Sky Drop from Victory Bell manages to pick up the knockout on it from that range, leaving this threat to his Fairy types gone, and that Groudon is going to be coming back. But now this Xerneas is kind of able to go after Pokemon that it really needs to. Wow.
Okay. After that dicey double protect earlier, Ben is now knows he's in a secure position. He's taking a few risks.
Yeah, I mean, I think Andrew's gonna have to call the Sucker Punch on this turn to be able to do any sort of damage. Both of these Pokemon, of course, resist it because it is the Dark type move, but it could still do a lot of damage, and any chip damage is going to be good enough in some cases, unless you don't want your opponent's berry to activate. However, we know that that Xerneas is a Power Herb, and Tapu Koko, generally when it's running something so supportive, is usually an Assault Vest. And Tapu Koko actually getting the heck out of dodge, no Volt Switches, as we get that Incineroar once more from Ben's side. Is going to be able to start his own Intimidate cycles against two physical attackers on Andrew's side, which are the last two Pokemon that he has.
Yeah, safest play from Ben's part there.
Yeah, I mean, the Xerneas is obviously holding on through that. Sucker Punch's Dazzling Gleam connects with both. It's probably going to pick up the knockout on that Yveltal.
Yeah, I wasn't a little sure about the Sucker Punch damage calcs on the Xerneas, but now I see that Intimidate was very necessary to make sure it did pick up the KO right there.
And avoid, could have picked up the knockout on the Xerneas and avoided that Precipice Blade. So game 2 is actually definitely going to go to Ben there. That would have been a great double knockout for Andrew at that point. Did pick up the knockout on Tapu Koko, but that Xerneas avoided it. So very nice job on Andrew's side, on Ben's Xerneas side, as we've got this Groudon, which is not intimidated and at full health, clearly within range to just take out Andrew's own Groudon.
Yeah. Okay. So I think now that Andrew's known a little more about a lot of Ben's tricks, and Ben showed a lot of it in this game here, he might have a lot of room to be able to move to plan around it, especially that Electro Web, knowing the speed order of the Intimidates, and knowing that the Yveltal is faster.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good game from Ben. He adjusted perfectly, managed to get that win, then force this to a game 3. I think obviously the important thing for him was getting that Xerneas set up. That double protect saved his butt so nicely though, because that Sucker Punch, he would have been in range twice. I mean, he could have knocked out the Yveltal then, but then that Groudon would have come in at a nicer point and probably would have been able to pick up a double KO.
Yeah, I thought that was a very curious risk at the time, but now I see it might actually have been necessary. But
I mean, yeah, now Andrew's going to have to figure out how he's going to adjust on his point. That Victory Bell was actually really cool to see. We might see a Koko Mirror at some point as well. I mean, obviously half the team that they have is sort of the same, and I think what really matters is how they handle their restricteds. Like, obviously, that Yveltal's the Sucker Punch is really great against everything else except that Xerneas, because Xerneas resist it. Like, even after it's been set up and everything, you know, this, even if you don't set up Xerneas, that Yveltal is going to take so much damage from your Moonblast.
But but even with the resisted hit, it's shown that Sucker Punch can still do scary damage to a Xerneas.
I mean, Andrew might consider bringing that Stack Attacka because we know that Stack Attacka with Gyro Ball is a great answer to Xerneas, especially after it's been set up with Geomancy. That +2 speed hurting it in that damage path versus Stack Attacka.
Maybe. I know how it can be intimidating to bring the Stack Attack knowing that there's
an Incineroar and a Groudon.
No, the Incineroar is not that big of a problem, but the Groudon especially.
Oh, yeah. But we'll see exactly how Andrew decides to adjust. I think that Victory Bell is actually a really fun Pokemon to see. It's not a Pokemon that you'd normally expect to see, like, to register with, but going to Game 3, we're going to see exactly if Ben, or which one of Ben and Andrew is going to be able to keep their full record, as Tapu Koko and Incineroar. What a nice, really recent throwback from that team, as Stack Attacka and Incineroar from Andrew's side.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, so a little bit of a change from Andrew. That Stack Attacka, obviously, always mostly carrying Gyro Ball, going to be using the opponent's speed against him, and we've seen that that Ben's Pokemon aren't quite as fast, but still going to be, faster than that Stack Attacka.
Yeah. So a lot of options for Ben here. Even if Andrew manages to get up in a Trick Room here, he's still got a slower Incineroar, but the rocks, and currently Stack Attack is intimidated, but can still do a lot with Gyro Ball with Tapu Koko, even if it's neutral hit, or Rock Slide all around.
Yeah, I mean, Ben's going to have to decide what he's going to want to get out of there because Gyro Ball is going to do a lot to that Tapu Koko. Can't switch into Xerneas very safely either because he's going to be doing super effective damage to it as well. So I think Andrew is going to be in a spot where he can kind of figure out what he wants, but switches out the Stack Attacka instead and brings in the Groudon. So this Groudon is going to be a non-intimidated, is going to be bringing in the Sun as well, so boosting the flare blitzes from either Ben or Andrew's Incineroar, as Fake Out from Andrew's Incineroar goes into that Tapu Koko, stops it from either Electro Webbing or from, Sky Dropping, as a critical hit Fake Out goes into that Groudon that just switched in. So Andrew preserving that Stack Attacka for later.
Alright, a little bit of a dead turn there, but there's a potential broken sash on Ben's Tapu Koko there. And I think Andrew is just kind of playing it safe here, waiting, probably expecting that Ben would bring in the Groudon there, and hoping to get rid of it first before he can bring in the Stack Attack to save it.
I mean, both these Pokemon are going to be horrible to take a Precipice Blaze against, and Ben, understanding that, brings out his Incineroar and switches in that Groudon. Instead, Volt Switch from Tapu Koko, though, on Ben's side, boosted by Terrain, does some okay damage into that Incineroar, but allows Ben to switch out, is going to be able to, I think, possibly intimidate that Groudon if he wants. He might actually lose an Incineroar if he brings it in on this turn. And it's going to be an interesting call to what it sees. He can't bring that Tapu Koko because it's full switching out. That Incineroar, even at a -1 Precipice Blades, might actually get knocked out.
Yeah, it doesn't seem there's a lot of safe switching options for Ben here. You have to bring in his Xerneas, and that would be...
That's going to be rough because Xerneas is his Pokemon he uses to kind of sweep up this match.
Once you use Xerneas, fighting back in the position is extremely tough. So I think one of Ben's options is going to have to go with the Incineroar, and he even risks taking that super effective hit. But it is going to be the Incineroar,
so going to intimidate Andrew's Pokemon. So that -1 Precipice Blaze from Andrew's Groudon is going to be very interesting to see here. Does connect with both Pokemon, so he's super effective on that Incineroar. Again, is at -1, and is that full health, manages to hold on with 38 health, and is going to be able to eat its berry and get back into the green with this. However, that Incineroar on Andrew's side still has not moved and is able to use U-turn and pivot out as well. Goes into that spot, into that Incineroar spot, and it's going to allow Andrew to kind of possibly, I think, bring in that Victory Bell maybe.
Oh, the Victory Bell will be extremely tough option. Yeah, extremely scary option around here. Even though Incineroar is back in the green, we've seen that another Precipice Blaze can probably take it out. And a Solar Beam, Grass Knot, anything would take out Groudon at this point. So right now, Andrew's got a big offensive advantage, and it can hit anything that Ben can bring in, even in the back.
Yeah, I mean, if you fake out the Groudon, then that leaves Victory Bell free to Grass Knot your Groudon. But if you Flare Blitz the Victory Bell, then you lose your Incineroar to a Precipice Blades, barring a miss. Now, obviously, it didn't do that much to Ben's Groudon, but it is one of those things where you kind of have to make a choice now at this point. And Ben's choice is he's switching that Incineroar, sends in the Tapu Koko, and is going to let that Tapu Koko go down to a Precipice Blades here, as that Victory Bell actually goes for Protect. So really nice call on Ben's side side there. As double protect actually from Andrew, so getting in that Tapu Koko for essentially free, and triple protect actually all around. So this is gonna be very interesting because Tapu Koko is now in a spot where he can go for Sky Drop onto that Victory Bell and stop it for a little bit, and Ben kind of has the option to kind of go for what he needs to as well.
Well, I'll be curious to see if an Assault Vest Koko can survive the Life Form Sludge Bomb from that Victory Bell here.
That's why. What if it negates each other? Because then if it does, then that Tapu Koko is going to go down. It's already got a little bit of chip from earlier, and it is super effective. I don't think Tapu Koko's got the best defenses at its...
No, it does not. But I mean, I guess we're about to find out.
Yeah.
Is it? So interesting. Instead of making the choice earlier, trying to predict the fake out target there, Andrew decided to play it really safe there and going to double protect.
Yeah, I mean it's hard because like you're gonna let that Koko get in for free, but Incineroar gonna come in for Andrew's Victory Bell, gonna get an Intimidate into Ben's Groudon, so gonna make sure that those Precipice Blades don't do as much damage as they could. Still, it's gonna do a massive amount if he does go for that, but instead the Protect from the Groudon on this turn did not want to take a Grass Knot from that switched out Victory Bells. Nature's Madness is gonna be the move of choice for Ben, and it's gonna go after that Groudon, which is right now the only way who can do damage into it right before it goes down to a Precipice Blades unless it avoids it. Nope, manages to connect, and I think this Tapu Koko is going to go down on this turn, but at least manages to do damage into that Groudon.
So interesting here, Andrew has only brought one of his restricteds here. He's left Yveltal totally on the bench, probably seeing it as a liability to even that slower Xerneas there. It's the one sack it for one knock off to get off that power herb was not enough to get it to stop Ben's momentum there.
I mean, that's really hard because I think in the Yveltal Xerneas matchup, Yveltal loses most of the time unless you're really lucky. But that Intimidate once again now into both of Andrew's Pokemon. That Precipice Blades is going to be at -2. It is at half health thanks to that Nature's Madness, so Ben is in a better position to kind of maneuver. There is fake out pressure though from both Incineroars. We know Andrew's Incineroar is faster, so Ben's going to have to make sure that he chooses the right Pokemon that's going to get faked out and either respond with a fake out on his own kind of make this turn quote unquote dead, or do some damage that he can into that Groudon. There's still that Sun as Incineroar's fake out goes into the Groudon on Ben's side, and Precipice Blades, an avoid from on that Groudon, but does connect with the Incineroar. It is at -2 though, and is not enough.
Still enough.
Yeah.
Still enough though.
So Ben is going to lose his Incineroar on this turn, and it's going to be a little bit tough now for Ben to come back from this. He hasn't taken care of that stack attack in the back, and I think we're going to see that Xerneas now. And it's going to be hard for the Xerneas to be set up properly in a way where it can take care of both of these Pokemon and the stack attack in the back, because Andrew has that Victory Bell cell.
I mean, it's true, but Ben does have the firepower right in here. And the sun is now out, so it's gone. And sorry, we have a stream freeze here.
Yeah, we're frozen on here, but I can their DSs are still going, so we're good here.
But
we do have so Geomancy from Xerneas is going on. I'm like looking over Ben's shoulder right now. So wait, Ben, no, move! I can't see. So Xerneas managed to use Geomancy though. I did see that much. I saw that much.
Yeah.
Geomancy happened.
I mean, that had to be one of Ben's options here. I mean, with his back against the wall, but he's got his back against the wall, but he's got the firepower right here.
Yeah.
And he's, even though Groudon's
I mean, if he can do this, 2-4, that would be fantastic. Precipice Blades, though, manages to knock out the Xerneas from what I can see on this side, so he does lose that.
I'm sorry, did you say it knocked it out? Even
it knocked it out.
It must have been a critical hit or something.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, Xerneas is still on the field, but Flare Blitz from Incineroar goes into Ben's Groudon. Ben's shaking his head, so something must have happened that really hurt him right now. All right. That's cool. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. I think that is Precipice Blades again, though. What I can tell, somebody's Groudon got knocked out. So, Precipice Blades from Ben connected with both of Andrew's Pokemon, knocked out both the Groudon and the Incineroar. So Ben still has that Xerneas and that Groudon, and Ben's gonna have to. Andrew has to bring in that Victory Bell and that Sakataka, but that's putting Ben in a hard position now. There we go. Cool. So Stack Attack is on the field, is able to get a Gyro Ball if it needs to. Also, ooh, wow, that Xerneas is at 31 health. So something happened, but both of these Pokemon can take care really easily of both of the Pokemon on Ben's side, and we know that it's faster. So Ben's definitely between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, well, despite the resisted hit, Victory Bell may not be able to survive a Moonblast from the Victory Bell, and Sakataka may or may not be survive a single target Precipice Blades.
We're gonna see. Yeah, you're right, because that Xerneas is at +2 right now. So it's gonna come down to some tough choices that Ben's gonna have to make immediately here. These two Pokemon are full health on Andrew's side, and Ben's in a good spot, but going for the Protect on the Xerneas instead, actually, on this turn, so not gonna want to take damage or lose that Xerneas as Grass Knot goes into that Groudon. So a very good call from Andrew is actually gonna be enough to pick up that knockout on there, and I doubt the Xerneas is gonna be able to take care of both these Pokemon on its own.
No way.
Giving game 2 and the round to Andrew, so Ben losing his first round as a master actually today.
Really?
100%. So Ben actually won the TJPC, I'm pretty sure. I don't think he dropped a single round.
No, I mean, he was a senior last year.
He was. He just aged up a couple weeks ago. So
well,
right
congratulations to him.
Like,
well,
I mean, hey, that Moonblast going into that victory we're going to see now, it actually is not enough, so Ben is going to lose this.
So, well, that's good to know. I mean, that's actually probably a very specific calculation. Victor Bell only giving enough offensive to be a threat, but also given sufficient defense to survive that kind of Moonblast.
So congratulations to Andrew. That was kind of ridiculous. Very well played game. Sorry we those last couple turns we did manage to miss out on, but I mean that was really close. And I mean Ben is still a fantastic player. I actually honestly think that is the first time he's dropped it since he became a master. So we will see you guys for round 6. Wait, where am I?
Well, he'll have many more years to have.
Yeah, he's got a lot. I'll screenshot later, but so all right, we'll see you guys for round 6, which are going to be our last round of Swiss. Again, we have top 8 here. I'm Regina. This is Emotional Support Pikachu, and this is Mike. So see you guys.
Take care.